Hey guys, welcome back to Jesse Invests. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to dive into my dividend portfolio and look at what returns I have got this month, what sort of dividend payments I've made in the month of February. Before we do, hit that like button down below, that sub button down below. It helps me out a lot. And we'll update you guys whenever I release a new monthly update. So let's get it going. If you're new to the channel, I will say we do investments. We look at my investments on this account. I share with you guys what I'm investing in. I also share with you guys personal finance advice. Well, not advice, personal finance suggestions and just input about what I do that maybe you could implement to your life if you wish to follow along. Let's get into it. All right, so we are in my portfolio on M1. We have $1.81 in cash in the account. We have $2,817 in the portfolio. This is made up of $75 in total dividend earnings, $410 in just market gains, for a total return of 31.82%. I have 6 slices in my portfolio. So my portfolio is divided up into 6 sections: growth stocks, grocery stocks, tech stocks, financial stocks, restaurant stocks, and industrial stocks. All of these sections are up, with the biggest return 52% on the financial stocks, like I have MasterCard and Chase Bank in here. And then trailing a little bit behind here is industrials, but still up at 19%. Everything has a nice cushion of green going on here. So if you notice here, I have 50% of my portfolio in my growth stocks and 10% in each of these sections. That's because I want to make sure there's a huge cushion of stocks that are not really going to fail per se. So like I only have 10% in grocery because there's 2 individual grocery stocks in there, so I'm not very diversified. But if we look at growth, I have 50% in here because it's made up of things like schd, VU, and VYMI, well-known long-term ETFs full of hundreds if not thousands of stocks. So those are very safe plays. So 50% in more safe growth plays that still do pay dividends, and the other 50% is in individual hand-picked stocks. What do I put in this portfolio? Stocks that pay dividends. If it doesn't pay a dividend, at least 0.1%, if it doesn't pay some sort of reoccurring dividend payment. I like paychecks, right? Who doesn't? So if it doesn't pay a consistent dividend, it's not on this portfolio. So all 18 positions I hold in this account are dividend payers. So let's jump into holdings and see what I have and which is doing the best. So if we go to holdings, from best to worst, my best stock is JP Chase, up 79%. Then we have Kroger up 44%, Apple up 41%, and then Costco up 39%, MasterCard up 34%, and then we have Texas Roadhouse, SMH, which is semiconductor stocks like Nvidia, Aflac, schd, McDonald's, Caterpillar, Waste Management, VU, which is the S&P 500, Microsoft, VYMI, and Target. So it looks like every single stock or ETF I have invested in this account, which is 16 positions, sorry, not 18, is in the green, with the exception of Target, which is actually down 3%. But that's does not raise any concern when we compare it to all the green I do have. So now that we know what's in this account, right, let's look at what dividends I've been paid this month. So I have a spreadsheet for this called Monthly Dividend Income. Down in the description, you can get a link to my Discord channel where you will find all my spreadsheets for free to access for you guys yourself that you can use on a daily basis. Everything from budget stuff to stock stuff. So everything you see in my videos is available for you guys for free. Okay, so monthly dividend income. Here's what's happened in February. Changes, there's been no account changes, no big changes in what I invest in. Deposits, $40. I put $40 into the account, and then it took a $3 monthly fee out for using the M1 investment platform. It is $3 a month. by having $10,000 invested, I can get rid of that fee, but I'm not there quite yet. I'm about 3 grand in, so we're a third of the way there. Once we get to 10K, we won't have to pay any more fees, which is really nice. So after that fee is taken out, we have 37 new dollars added to the account this month. And then let's look at what we bought. So with M1, after you deposit money, it'll automatically buy stocks that you've selected, and it'll pick the amount of each one based on the percentage you selected. So let's say I want 30% of my account to be made up of VU. After I load money, if I'm at 29% in my account, it'll buy 1 more percent worth of VU, it'll top off the VU. If I want 30% of VU and I only own 5% of VU in my account, then it'll buy a lot of VU. There's a more in-depth I can go into that, but essentially it's automatically buying different levels of the stocks I want based on how little or how much I have, which is really cool. And I can set all those amounts and then back off and let it do its thing automatically. So it chose to get me $18 of VU this month, $6 of Texas Roadhouse stock, $4 of SMH, which is AMD and Nvidia, $4 of McDonald's, $3 of Microsoft, $2 of VYMI, which is international stocks outside of the United States, and then $1 of Apple. Nothing was sold this month, as this is a brokerage account, so selling stuff does have tax implications. So that's not the goal. We do not want to sell anything in this account if we can avoid it. So now let's go to dividends earned. I've been talking so fast, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee real quick. Oh my gosh. Also, if you don't have a drink, go grab one. Been speeding through everything, but we got plenty of time here. So go ahead and grab yourself a drink, hit that sub button, we'll keep going. Okay. Dividends earned. Let's start with the first one. MasterCard paid me 17 cents on the 7th, which was better than the 15 cents they last paid me. So that's an increase of 2 cents, 13% change. Apple paid me 10 cents 6 days later on the 13th. Caterpillar paid me 68 cents a week later on the 20th. And then I got 13 cents of a check from Costco on 2/21, a day after that, for a total dividend payments in the month of February of $1.08. And if we compare the previous dividends, MasterCard was 17 instead of 15, so a 13% increase. Apple paid me the same as last time. Caterpillar was a 3% increase with 68 cents instead of 66. And Costco was 13 cents instead of 12, which is an 8% increase there. Now, I record the percent change of the increase of the dividend payment because it's really important. Things that can affect this is how much more of the stock I buy, but since I don't put a whole lot of money in this account, it's important to me to reflect on the dividend growth percent too. I want to invest in stocks that have a high dividend growth, that ensure that the dividend payment will increase without me putting any more money in at a certain percentage of base inflation per year. So if inflation averages 3 or 4% a year, and MasterCard has a dividend that grows an average of 8% a year, I know that even if I never invest in it again and I only have $100 in there, that year over year, that dividend is going to be increasing quicker than inflation, so I don't lose buying power. So that can be reflected with this 13% change right here, because I've not bought MasterCard in a while, or Costco. I haven't bought Costco in a while, and I got paid 8% more than last time. So that's really awesome to see that our little checks are getting little raises, right? No matter, for doing nothing. These checks are getting little raises. It's really cool. So that puts us at $1.08. So if we go here to M1 dividend income, we can see that January paid us 48 cents. February paid us $1.08. So we're sitting at $1.56 year-to-date total so far, or 78 cents a month average. Now we can see we're on an upward trajectory, right? 2023, we were paid $12 in dividends. Last year, 56, 5 times as much. And this year, I'm hoping for a lot more, hoping for at least 120, but I think we're on track for more than that. To kind of see where we are on track for, we can go to the div tracker, which is where I track some of my dividends as well. Go to portfolio, M1 dividend. Let's take a look here. Let's see where it's going to track this for us. I think if we go to overview, there we go. So M1 dividend right now, I probably do need to update this. It says annual dividend income is $52.63, $4 a month, $1 a week, 14 cents a day, 1 cent an hour, and a 2.46% yield on cost. Now, one thing I will say about this is some people ask me, well, why do you only have 2% dividend yield? That's going to take forever to get financially free. You can invest in a yield max fund or so-and-so fund. It's going to give me 20% dividend. That's true, but I want growth more than dividend, because if a dividend is high, but the growth of the stock is shaky, then your dividend can leave just like that. An example of this is I invested in a company called CWH a while back, which was Camping World Holdings, and their dividend was really high. It was at least 6%. And I put a lot of money into it. I was like, wow, this is a really high dividend. I'm going to get paid a lot of checks each month. This is awesome. Well, what happened? The finances of the company weren't that good. A couple months later, it slashed the dividend down to something like 2%. And the stock tanked, and suddenly the dividend was gone or next to gone. So that's something you want to be wary of. If you invest in something with a high dividend, you can't always get your cake and eat it too. If the dividend's high, make sure that the stock is stable. So I would rather invest in high growth stocks with a stable history of a 50-year plus dividend, even if it's not the highest dividend. So then going from there, let's lastly look at a whole picture of my portfolio, guys. Let's look at the investment returns visualizer. This is probably my favorite sheet that I have. It's just so cool to see. Let's look at how my investments did this month versus last. So there's been a pretty dramatic change here, right? So we can see that I have here my Roth IRA, which is the red. The blue is my M1 dividends account, the one I make these videos about. Purple is Bitcoin, and green is the S&P 500 in general, and the gold, well, is gold. So last month in January, we can see that, let's see, I don't want to exactly blow everything up. In January here, Bitcoin was on top, beating the M1 dividend portfolio. Gold was straggling, kind of next to the Roth IRA, and S&P 500 was in the middle. Well, now we're at an interesting point where everything is kind of stagnating. In the last 30 days, nothing's moved. VU hasn't moved at all, nor has my dividends portfolio. In fact, it's gone down by like 1%. Bitcoin plummeted in value, and Roth IRA is pretty stagnant too. But notice this, while Bitcoin plummeted, gold shot up. Gold went from the least return out of all my investments, and now gold is competing with M1 dividends and Bitcoin for returns, which is something I noticed, that when the market isn't doing very well, people turn to gold to invest their money, and gold goes up. So this is really neat. We suddenly went from Bitcoin in the lead at 40%, with gold struggling behind at 24%, to Bitcoin down to 29%, matching everything else, with gold shooting up 6% in 1 month to 30%. So gold is crazy. I remember when I was first looking into investing in gold, it was valued at about $700, and that was literally just about a year ago. Now gold is like $900 for like a 10 gram piece. It's just crazy to see that in just a short time, the way that gold has shot up. So that's where we're at with our returns, guys. I really hope that these stagnations change and we start to see which one takes the lead in the next month leading up to the end of the year. So thanks for tuning in, guys. $1.08 this month, nothing super exciting, but this is a small account. The goal of these videos is to show you some more realistic overview of where you should be at when you start your dividend investing journey. When I first started investing in dividends, I saw all these videos of $10,000 in my account, $15,000 in my account. We got paid $3,000 this month in dividends. Well, that's cool to watch. It's just not realistic. Once I started investing, I was like, where's the money? Why am I getting 10 cents dividend checks, not 30,000? This is so slow, boring, and long. Well, I make these videos to meet you guys in the middle and show you that for an average person with an average wage, average 9 to 5, it's a slow process. And I want to document the journey from starting at just $1,000 invested, or $900 even was when I started. Now I'm at 3,000 in the last year of videos. It's a slow process, but follow along in the journey, and eventually we will be one of those big YouTubers with the 10K, 100K invested. But for now, guys, just share down below where you guys are at, what stocks you're watching, what you're investing in, where you're at with your personal dividend accounts as far as value goes, and just let me know. Let me know how things are going for you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate the feedback and the comments. Every like, comment, I love seeing. If you want to access any of these spreadsheets, you can at a link down below to my Discord for free. At some point, the Discord will fill up with maximum spaces. At that point, it will be closed off, and you can access my spreadsheets for less than the price of a cup of coffee with my Patreon link down below. But I'll be opening up free spots every so often, and there's plenty right now. So go ahead and get access to all these sheets for free. Help track your guys' investments. And thanks for tuning in. Until next time.